So there are also there are several different SDLC models like prototype model, spiral model, etc., which are all that not widely used, or they are not very important. They are very specific to few projects, or very less project has been used. Spiral model is used to some extent, as the name suggests. Like it will, the model is like a spiral. If you see that spiral model, we can see that it spiral model. Uh, it's a risk-driven software development process model. So if you see the images, always very give the good clarity about what is the gives real picture. So as the name suggests, it will be like a spiral. So so it will be like if you can see, it is like a spiral. So prototype one, they will do all the requirements, planning, verification, validation. See, each software life cycle will come for each prototype. It will follow all the process. So it is also a very good model, but it is not extensively used. It is bit complicated model. So they don't want to make it so complicated. So many of the companies don't adopt this model. It has been widely used for quite some time in the software industry, because if you see, it is also like a little bit similar to the V model and the agile methodology, like prototype one, prototype two, or module one, module two. So everything, requirement analysis, everything is covered in first prototype in one spiral. Then the second prototype will come as a verification and validation, test plan, etc. Then again the third one, after the last prototype will be integration and implementation, everything. This is not so important. It is not being widely used, and very less people ask about this. So spiral model, you can just have a knowledge on that, but it is not that much useful, or need to be known. So, and the next model we have is the software testing methodologies. So so you can we could have
This conference will now be recorded.
so software testing methodologies. If you would have got a little bit of overview of what is testing and all, you would have always heard about these names. It is very common, like white box testing, black box testing, gray box testing. So these two are more commonly used, white box testing and black box testing. So this black box testing is the real actual functional testing which is being done by the testers, and white box testing is something like the testing in coding level, like if the loops has been given properly, if the methods has been called properly, if the for loops, if loops, nested loops has been called properly, if the coding has been followed as standards. So many of the, it is coding related testing, whether the coding is being done properly or no, is called, mostly called white box testing. And black box testing is a real functional testing. So it is also called as behavioral testing. White box testing is code level testing. So it is mostly done on that, whether nested loops has been done properly, coding standards. Many, there are many things. There are many. It depends on the company to company. They set some rules and regulations for the developers, and they follow that. So coding standards, and everything related to code, everything related to code, mostly done by developers. The developers themselves reviews each other's code. Like the developer one will review the code of developer two, and they give suggestions, and they put it in Jira, like I have reviewed this and these are the observations I have found. And if they both agree, or if they both don't agree, they go to the higher level and they agree. So all these steps. So white box testing is mostly done by developers, and testers also do. Yeah, if you can do white box testing, you have interest in coding, and you have some wide knowledge on the coding. Some testers also do the white box testing. They learn that separately what is white box testing, and how to do the white box testing, because in white box testing you need not do any coding. You will be so big companies, if it's a small project, there are only 10 developers, there will be no white box tester. The developers themselves will be reviewing each other's code, and that is code review only. You can call it as white box testing. But if it is a big project, there are some 100 developers, 200 developers, then there might be a white box tester to cover it up very fast, or to do the process very fast, because you cannot waste the developers time for reviewing the code. Which if you have a specific white box tester, then it will be very faster, the release may be very faster. And it's a big project, or even though if it is a small project, but they wanted quick releases. So in that case also they will use white box tester to save the time, so that the developers need not review the code. They just develop the code and give it to the white box tester. He reviews the code of everything, like whether the loops, the coding standards has been followed, everything related to the code he follows. So this is white box testing. Then black box testing is very important, and it is to our this training. Black box testing, which it is also called also behavioral testing. Behavioral behavioral testing. So at the name as the name suggests, black box testing is a method to test the behavior of the application, how the application behaves. So it is also called behavioral testing. And so what is black box testing, we will see in little bit more detail. So why the name black box? As the name black box itself, in aeroplane you could have heard the name black box. As the name itself suggests, black box testing is like a real black box. So what how is a black box? A black box in aeroplane, like you can see the black box from outside, but you cannot see what is there inside a black box. Okay, so you need not see inside the black box, or in other words you can say. So it is the same, it is the same, like you have testing either a functional or non-functional without reference to the internal structure of the program. I will repeat this sentence, it is very important. So it is a method of testing either a functional or non-functional without reference to the internal structure of the component or system. You don't bother what is internally written, what is internally coding, how it is written, because testers don't bother that. How, what is the internal framework? You don't bother about that. You worry about the external. So it is called as black box testing. So without reference to the internal structure, it is important definition. So I am writing it down also. Testing of either functional or non-functional without reference to the internal structure of the component or of the component, or you can say as like a system or application. So this is what called as black box testing, or you can call it as functional testing. Mostly black box testing is carried out for functional testing. They included non-functional testing, but non-functional testing 100% I can say, or even 99% it doesn't come under black. A few non-functional testing comes under black box testing as well. So we cannot say, yeah, we cannot say like it is not, we cannot include in black. All non-functional testing is not black box. We cannot say. There are few non-functional testing also comes under black box. So, uh, so again, what is black box testing? Uh, for example, a tester without the knowledge of the internal structure of a site test the web pages. So how we can say, like there is a web page, for example amazon.in. It's a web page. I'm not talking about the app. Web page. So what a black box tester is like, he doesn't care about the code, what is written, or internal structure of the amazon.in website. He worries about only the outside part of amazon.in website, by providing inputs like clicks, keystrokes, and verifying the expected result, verifying the expected what is coming. So this is black box testing. So amazon.in web page is there, you don't care about the internal code or structure, but you perform testing in the web page of the amazon.in by doing clicks, keystrokes. This is like a basic thing. Clicks and keystrokes are the basic things you do, clicking, keystrokes, etc. That is called black box testing. So black box testing, as I said, it can be called as functional testing, as functional testing or non-functional testing, which bothers only about the external structure. So for black box testing only, you write the test case and all those stuffs. So this is black box testing, and there is one more thing called gray box testing. So as you would have understood by now, like white plus black color combination will come to gray color. So gray box testing is a combination of white box testing plus black box testing. How it is like white box testing plus black box testing will be equal to gray box testing. So what it does is, you cannot say like a gray box testing is a white box testing, because white box testing covers fully all the internal structures of a application, of a code. Black box testing doesn't bother about code. Two extreme levels. White box testing bothers only about the code. Black box testing doesn't bother about the code. It bothers about the external part, external view of the application. Gray box testing cares, the tester will have a partial understanding of the internal structure, so he doesn't go each and everywhere of the code. Some specific kind of testing he will do, like only the loops, or when you are he will do the debugging of the code, and he will verify the output. Okay, I will say in other words, the tester will execute the code, or a very correct word for this is, will debug the code But you don't need to use, we'll execute the code, they used to say, like, so we'll debug the code. So what you are doing here, you are doing the white box testing. You will debug the code. So here what he verifies, when he is debugging the code, how the application is behaving. So code is internal, application is external. Code is white box, application verification is black box. So together it is called gray box. So tester will debug the code uh, and verify how the application behaves, or what is the output. So it is a combination of white box plus black box. Okay, so let us see an example of a black box. So black box, what happens is, you have, again we will take an example of Amazon itself, amazon.in. So what is the website of this? www.amazon.in. Okay, when you are entering this in the web browser, the tester checks that the HTML is written properly with. So how he verifies whether the HTML is written properly? He writes this amazon.in in the browser and checks whether the URL is directing to the correct website. What is I will repeat that. What is black box is the tester. So you have to, this is basic testing. We will, what example we are taking here is example whether the HTML URL directs to the correct website. This is our testing has to be done. So for this, what are the how differently it is performed for black box and white box, we will see. Here in black box, the tester writes amazon.in just like that in the website, and he will check whether it is redirecting to the amazon.in page. Okay, so this will be the task of a black box tester. So what is white box testing? White box testing is, he will go inside the code and he will verify whether, when you are debugging the code, he will try to click the URL of this, click the in other words, he will verify, ensures that the browser directs to the correct URL in the code level. In the code level, he will verify by clicking on a link like amazon.in, and he will, so that the code will debug, and he will ensure whether his code is correctly redirecting to the particular website. This is white box testing. So what is gray box testing is, so it will, white box testing will be done only in the code level. In the code, he will verify whether clicking on the amazon.in link, then he will verify whether that is going to the correct method which should open the amazon.in web browser, amazon.in website in the web browser. So this is code level testing, white box testing. You should understand very carefully. Black box is, you just enter the amazon.in in the URL, you verify whether amazon.in page is displaying properly or no. Gray box testing is combination of this black box and white box, as you know. So he will verify whether, he will do the debugging of the code. So he will verify whether the uh, code is done properly. By debugging it, he will go and it is going to the correct method where amazon.in website should be open in the web browser. He will do that verification, as well as what black box tester has done, whether the application is displaying properly. This verification, I mean, This verification also he does, whether it is opening properly, and in code level it is calling the correct method or no. So black box tester verifies, in this case it verifies when given amazon.in different browsers. Also we can say this, we call it as cross browser testing. If you are, you can have a knowledge of this. Cross browser testing is nothing but verifying the URL in different browsers. For example, IE, Chrome, Safari, what else is there, Firefox. So this is etc. This is called cross border. It depends on how much the customer wants. If the customer for how many web browsers the customers want his application to be working. Some may be like I want only in IE and Chrome. Some will say like I want IE, Chrome and Firefox. So it depends on the customers. So this is something different from what we are doing. So put it here. So what is black box? We'll repeat it. It verifies when given amazon.in in different browsers or one browser, it opens the correct website. Okay. So what is white box in this case? In code level, we should ensure whether browser directs to correct URL by debugging, and it is or calling the correct method by method. So what is gray box testing is, gray box is nothing but combination of both. So here we have to see whether code is done properly. Also you have to do the black box also, like check the expected browser is opened properly. So what is this? You have to verify whether the code is also done properly, as well as whether the functionality, that means like whether the browser is opened properly. So this black box, white, where did this gray box is done? Gray box is not done extensively. So gray box is mostly done in the risk areas. So where are they with the experience or with the discussion, they find the risk areas where can be risk are very severe areas. Like this is one severe area. If you are giving the browser name, it should open that particular browser. It should not open some other particular browser. So for Amazon itself, for example, if it is India location, it should open amazon.in. If it is UK location, it should open amazon.uk. And if it is US, it should open amazon.us. So uh, that verification in, so that that's all the niche areas. So those very critical areas or risk areas, they do gray box testing both with the coding and this one. So white box testing is not done extensively in any of the project, because checking doing a white, there will be like lakhs of codes. So each line of code, each loop, each line of the code debugging and verifying whether this testing, whether the coding is done properly, is highly impossible. So white box testing is not widely used. So in that is the reason they came up with gray box testing, which will be the combination of both. So they will identify the niche areas and they will verify approximately in some places where if the coding and functionality is working properly. Because white box testing is highly impossible to test each and every line of the code. Yes, but you are doing some product, you have sufficient time. Some do white box testing as well, but in many cases, 99% of the cases, white box testing is done to some extent, not to greater extent. So black box testing is our normal manual testing or functional testing, or some non-functional testing also comes in that. So in this black box testing, there is black box testing is black box is now important. Black box testing. Mostly functional testing is done in black box testing. Functional testing. Okay. So black box testing, we have two methods. One is verification, because we will be doing as a tester, we will be doing mostly a black box testing. Our manual tester, our main focus will be on black box testing. So coming part like where the going forward we will be mostly learning about black box testing. White box testing and gray box testing is just for the knowledge. There is nothing to study about that more. We have to just have the knowledge what is those, that's all. So in black box testing, functional testing, there are two methods we can call: verification and validation. So what is verification? What is validation? So both, if you see very, uh, if you see from outside, if you see like just read the word verification and validation, both will look a very similar word. What same, it is verification and it is validation. That's all. But there is a difference between, if you go very closely and watch, there is a difference between verification and validation. So what is verification? What is validation? We will look into that. So verification is typically, it is like involves reviews and meetings. They do reviews and meetings. Verification is only for evaluating documents, plans. You can see here, it is evaluating documents, plans, code, requirements and specifications. It is the once the requirement come, evaluating this, like once the requirement comes, you will plan, you will estimate for that requirements, you will write the code for the requirements, you will prepare some documents for the requirements, like you can keep it as any document, some design document, you can say like test case document, all these documents comes. So this verification is evaluating of all this, like verifying whether these documents are done properly. So this can be done with checklist, issue list, walkthrough, and inspection meeting. So this can be done in several ways. Like some companies, they will have a checklist how a code should be done, how a test case should be run, in what are the test case should coverage, what kind of test cases and all they want. They want smoke testing, they want integration testing test case, they want for system testing test case. So they will evaluate those documents. So this can be done with this checklist or issues list or walkthroughs. They will have meetings, and in that they will walk through each and every document, and the whole team will be there, and they will walk through that and they will correct the document as per the review commands in the meetings. And inspection meetings, yes, of course, you can have a team that will go and inspect all these documents, and they will give their suggestions.
This conference will now be recorded.
So verification is one, Then validation. Validation is called as actual testing. As the name you can see, like validate. So you will be validating the expected result with the actual result which has come, and you will suggest whether it is pass or fail. It is like verifying the real application with the expected result and coming out with their result for that. So you can say validation typically involves actual testing and takes place after verification are completed. Okay, after verification is completed, you will do the actual testing and you will give the results. Both validation and verification process continue in a cycle till the software becomes defect free. So validation will happen, verification will happen on the documents or the test cases, everything, plans, code, requirements, everything will be revisited, because as the testing goes on, like no software development, no software goes as per the plan. 80 percentage of the cases doesn't go as per the plan, or you can say 90 percentage of the cases doesn't go as per the plan. So there will be always re-evaluation or revisiting the plans, code, the requirements. You will be always revisiting the requirements. If you are revisiting the requirements, you will be revisiting the documents. If you are revisiting the requirements, again you will be revisiting the design documents. So if you are doing the modifications in the requirements, you will be again modifying the estimation. So this validation and verification process will go in a cycle. Like verification will happen, then validation will happen, then if there will be new requirement, and again verification will happen, and again validation will happen. Our old requirement only has changed, again then again verification has to happen, and validation also has to happen. So this is verification and validation. Verification is reviewing the documents, validation is actual testing, in one words. So here is one more point about black box. So it is written in a little simpler way. The main focus of black box testing is validation of the functional requirements. So black box testing will mainly always focus on systems behavior, how the system behaves. Like when you give Amazon.in page is displayed or not, how the system behaves. So black box testing facilitates testing communication amongst modules. Like black box testing also you will involve, like is there is a communication. For example, like if you are adding a customer, so if you add a customer has to be added in a certain page of the web application, and it has to be updated on the database as well, that customer details. So this is one example of black box testing, whether a customer is added properly. So this communication and all black box you have to test. So for example, you might be adding a customer in some menu, like you can say like testing communication it came. So we can say like there is a menu 1 in your application, menu 3, menu 2. So you are adding a customer here. You have in menu 1 adding a customer. So this might be first menu. We'll write in a different way. So in menu 2, you have another page called customer details. So when you add a customer in menu 1, it may come and store in the menu 2. Here the customer details. So here you are adding a customer called black box testing, black box. So once you add in menu 1, it will come to the menu 2 in under the customer details. So here what testing you have to do is you have to add a customer in the menu 1 and you have to come to menu 2 and you have to verify whether customer details black box customer has been created or no. And again, you cannot call it as menu 3, you can say it as you have database, for example SQL. Here we have to verify there may be some table called customer details. Here you have to verify whether in some column it depends. You can have name, ID, it will have a primary key, etc. That all you know, I guess. Black box is created in database as well. So this intercommunication is happening properly or no, also we should check in black box. So white box testing, they call it as unit testing also. You would have heard everywhere like unit testing is done by the developers. They have unit test cases. They have some, in these days, they are even automating the unit test cases. So it validates the internal structure and working of your software code. So do white box testing, what is required? Programming language knowledge is essential. Uh, so this is one of the disadvantage of white box testing. Like in the current day, the software systems, they use a variety of the softwares. Like in one project itself, they will be using Java also, and they will be using some old there might be some applications which is having Windows also, and they will be having web application also. So Windows application might have been developed in some old Uniface code, or uh, there are many Windows based development I mean languages, so a programming language, so that might have been developed in a different language, and the web application may be developed in Java, Spring Hibernate. So you, as a white box tester, you should know then Java also, you should know the Uniface also. So both the codes to know, it is very highly impossible for a single person. Then you have to hire a Uniface guy also and a Java guy also, or we can call that two guys for a white box testing is little bit cost it will increase the cost of the project. So this is one of the disadvantage, because nowadays they use more technologies, more programming languages, so it is impossible to know all of them. So and white box testing does not communicate what this does. Okay, so this is little a picture of white box and black box testing. So black box types, what is all? Functional testing, non-functional testing. Regression anyway comes in functional testing. This is wrong here. So white box testing, unit testing, and they will do memory leaks. I will cover it a little later, which is not that important. Then both black box and white box is penetration testing, mutation testing. These both are not important. We can cover it little in next when you are learning about the types of testing. So this we will go through next. Like in black box testing, there are many techniques. In white box testing, there are many techniques. In black box testing, like equivalence, class, boundary value, decision table, error guessing. White box as statement coverage. This we will go through next. So this is a overall of module 3, like methodologies. There's white box testing, black box testing, gray box testing. Let us revise once. So white box testing is testing on the coding level, where the loops communication between the modules are happening, not communication between the modules, I'm sorry, whether the loops or nested loops in the code or the coding standards has been properly followed. There all the development, the coding related testing is called white box testing. Whether the whole code is built properly, whether the code is written properly or no, verification of that is called white box testing. Then black box testing is functional or non-functional testing. It is a real testing which testers do, which is verifying the functionality of the system with the expected result and verifying whether the actual result is matching the expected result. We will see once again also this one, no issues, because this is valid, I mean, important point. The testers will be verifying the expected result with the actual result and determine whether the both expected and actual result match. So the testers will be verifying the expected result, which will be your test case obviously, with the expected result with the actual result which is coming when during the testing, and determine whether the expected and the actual results are match. If it matches, it is pass. If it doesn't match, it is fail. That's all. So this is black box testing, and gray box testing is a combination of white box testing and black box testing. So gray box tester need not have that much coding knowledge as a white box tester. He just what to say, whether he just verifies whether the code is being done properly by debugging the code, and while he is debugging he will verify, he will do the black box testing, which is whether the functionality is also working properly. So this is all about software testing methodologies.